Taurus, how you doing, guys? So we're here to do your 15th until the 31st of January. How you doing, Taurus? If you can, really do me a favour, which is to like, share and comment or something like that. That would really help out the channel. So let's see what's going on with you, Taurus. It is my first reading of the day, so please give me a second just to hopefully... I've got so much to do. So you've got Nine of Cups. So there's someone that's exactly the same as what came out for your other reading. Something's being fed, which can be a lot to do with alcohol or food, but there's some kind of addiction that someone's trying to work their way through, of some kind of codependency, of trying to avoid something that they know is right in front of them that they need to do some work on. Okay, so this is wish fulfillment. So whatever it is that you've asked for, so someone's asking for assistance. So someone around you could be asking for assistance. Okay, you might be wanting to become an assistant manager, or you are one if it's related to work. Also, a lot of you, if you don't know me, I channel messages, and I just wouldn't class this as a Nine of Cups, okay? So I channel, so sometimes the reading can get a bit scattered. So I'm hearing assistant manager for some of you, or you are assistant manager, or you serve people for work. Okay, there's a servant also where there might be parents that might be waiting on someone to move. Okay, because it would have to go to a 10. So someone is at home with you, but you're because I keep picking up like assisting someone to do with like where it might be feeding each other's ego. If it is to do with alcohol, okay, it can be food, but I'm picking up alcohol through this one, that there's some kind of dependency, that someone's seeking assistance from their family. Okay. And if there is anything to do with alcohol or trying to give up something to do with the mind, then they're seeking assistance from their family, more than likely. Okay, there you go. Same cards that came out for you before, Taurus. Four of Wands, the twin flame. It might not be, but this is all happening at home. There's some kind of dependency that someone's depending on someone to help them out, but what they're doing is avoiding reaching a 10 also. Okay, now it won't relate to a lot of you. Sorry, but there was someone that was saying things, but you know, it won't relate to everybody, so it's not everybody's path, but there is some kind of dependency that someone's seeking from family to ask their advice of what they would do about their relationship. So if that's a family member that's physically living with you, that could be a child or a friend, they would be seeking assistance from their more stable place. Okay, so if someone's with you at home now, they're asking for assistance to do with something, but there could be a lot of still indulging in drinking that can be codependency to avoiding things to do with a twin flame relationship. So if somebody on the external environment is at home with you and they're asking for assistance to deal with their twin flame relationship that they're in, so that would relate to a child or someone that's asking for assistance of what they would do about this, there's some kind of feeding energy of asking for assistance but avoiding to do that themselves also, because they know that they have to face that fear to have courage in order to be able to break through that to reach a 10. So it is wish fulfillment, so whatever it is that you're asking for, you're receiving it pretty much. So let's see, Taurus, Sun rising Venus. Taurus, Sun rising Venus. Show me Taurus from the 15th until the 31st of January. Taurus, 15th to the 31st. Because this could be waiting on someone hand and foot, but I think that also the person is still waiting. Like there's someone, I keep thinking or feeling that there's someone at home. And what they're doing is like doing the cooking and the cleaning and the moving around and the altering things around the home quite a lot. This could even be something to do with OCD, doing something too much, okay? Because it's an addiction of too much. So there's too much. Someone feels like it's just too much at the moment. So what they're doing is they're using that technique to feed an energy that's avoiding that person doing it themselves, okay? But there is still a dependent... let's see. Taurus, Venus, continue on the same timeline, please, for Taurus, Sun rising of Venus from the 15th until the 31st. From the 15th to the 31st, Taurus. I keep feeling like something's taken someone's breath away. Yeah, there you go, Six of Swords. So it's a lot to do with family, and it's a lot to do with that the family might be saying, listen, you need to find a common ground. You need to relate to someone, so you're going to have to... So the person that was at home, they're moving out. So... I'm picking this up as a family member, that they are moving out from some kind of home. So your child or someone might just have come back home, but they're just moved out. But there's definitely a family movement. but it feels like there's a dependency on family where there's a movement, meaning like there's a pattern that someone has of a movement, that they avoid things, but they go back to their family to seek advice. But whilst they're doing that, there can be some kind of like wanting someone to give them advice on what to do with their life, or some kind of dependency on drinking. Okay, and when that happens, then the person gets their fill here, they gets their fill, and then they leave. Okay, they leave. So we'll see. But that would have a lot to do with family and stuff like that. Okay, cycles of going forward, reflection, 6. Okay, could have a life path, because I'm picking that up as the other way around, sorry. Life path, or definitely between 6 and 9, life path or healing year. Personal year. Don't forget to check your personal year numbers, because they would have changed during 2020. Okay, so there you go. So you got 5 again. It's a ruminating thought that they know that when they move, they probably going to have to drop their defenses and stop ego. 5, it does not go around in the heart, it goes around in the head. So the only way that you will ever dissolve a argument is by compromise. That there's going to have to be some kind of compromise for this to be able to go forward. Okay, so the family members are more than likely saying that you're going to have to go, but you're going to have to go and confront this 5 here, meaning that you're going to have to either 1, argue it out, or 2, drop your defences and sit down and talk. Okay, so there is no victor. There's one person that's victory, but there's never victory in a fight. Okay, so you go from 4 to 5, so there is progression, meaning movement. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So again, 9. You see, crying for help, also seeking help. 9. It's just 9s are all about codependency of relying, because it's not quite reaching a 10. You see, so this person realizes that they are going to have to rely on themselves, and that could be what the family is saying, that we're there, but you're going to have to sort out your life. You know, you're going to have to sort out your life, and you're going to have to sort out why this 5 of swords is 5 of wands is here, because it's a discussion that's needed to drop this. So you've got Sagittarius energy. So someone is definitely having conflict with a Sagittarius. This could be a Sagittarius, but Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. But they realise that the discussion is going to be about a Sagittarius. If you are, it doesn't have to be, because it can be in anyone's chart. But there's a lot of compromise. You see, Temperance is all about compromise of energy. So that you're going to have to learn to live or without the person. So that is going to be the discussion, more than likely, is that do you want to live with them, or do you want to live without them? Can you live without them? So you need to compromise with Temperance, which is good, because you're going to have to regulate your energy, because there can be an energy of draining one's energy here from a fire sign, water sign. But generally regulate your energy, because it's draining one's energy here by giving too much. So it's like, I need your attention, but then I don't need your attention. So I need to come back for my fill and regulate my own energy, meaning instead of taking it and draining it from another's. Trust me, when you're empathic, that can be very difficult when the ego gets in the way, because it's learning. Okay, so there's someone that's definitely learning, but to compromise of energy levels, meaning that mood swings. This can be mood swings. Someone could have mood swings, and all of a sudden they're one way, and then the next they're that, and it's kind of like, well, what is your energy? But what they do is they rely on someone else's energy, which is generally good when you can hang around with positive people. But if you're very codependent and reliant on one's energy, and then when you're without them, if you can't find your own energy level, but you then wait until a person enters your field or a loving relationship to say, well, I'm just going to base my energy level on what your energy level is. See, still, it relies on another energy to drain the energy, to take it away. So it would be a lesson around 9 of codependency, finding your own vibration and your own path of life, to find out what makes you feel great and what you can do within that. Generally, that is something of passion and creation, like music or art or studying photography or anything like that. Anything that keeps you focused on life. Simple of, well, just simplifying it a little bit, Taurus, if you're interested in, me that deals with people that are married or not married or separated, is that when you're together, life still happens, and you can't never ever forget yourself, because when you do forget yourself, things come around again back to you for you to witness it. Okay, so when you learn to compromise with things, that you realize that compromisation isn't about love, it's actually about life, that you need to compromise, that life is there all of the time, and there's a lot of things in life and in the world, and until this can happen, of one regulating their own energy source to find their passion and creation to do it themselves. At the moment, that is kind of the feeling that I'm getting through this reading, that there has to be a compromise to drop the ego and to find one's own regulation of their vibration. Okay. Taurus, I mean, you know, because you could be dealing with Leo. Sagittarius is mutable, but you can also have other fire signs of fixed signs. Okay, fixed signs will just, they won't, trust me, they will change eventually, but they'll change on their own terms. That's what I'm saying, because it can ruminate around 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 and go around and around and around and around and around until they learn to regulate their own energy level. Okay. Because it's fire, you see, fire is draining water. Whatever happens is, if you're indicative with a water sign, it can also be Aquarius, water sign with Aquarius in their chart, okay? Sorry, because I'm still looking at Sagittarius. But I'm seeing this fire is draining water, is draining the water. It's taking from the water to regulate the fire. Okay, so I don't know why I'm picking up messages to do with that, with regulations, rules and regulations, terms and conditions, rules and regulations. Some of you, this is to do with like electricity bills and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm picking it up, but rules and regulations. Okay, that could be an argument. I'm picking up regulating some kind of like temperature gauge or something, or gauging someone's temperature. That I don't know why I'm picking up that temperature gauge, but I'm picking that more up of mood swings. So when I was talking in your last reading and I was saying periodic period and periodic period, sorry about that one, doesn't really make much sense, but what I was picking up as is someone's period, okay, so period pains or mood swings of regulating one's energy through a mood swing, okay, but that can generally be men through just being men. Okay, because generalizing a mood swing can also come from the ego, you see, so there needs to be compromise. But what I'm picking up is that it's draining a water sign 100% here, okay, but you are definitely mirrored through family, so you all know one another, okay, so there needs to be a meeting of minds. Continue on this reading at the same timeline, please, from 15th until the 31st. See, there they come, very, very quickly. Someone can be very sporadic. Okay, so you got Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. People could also still have that in that chart, but this would be the discussion that's going to be talked about, and that's going to be discussed and said, listen, you're going to have to find your own way, and you're going to have to find your own regulation of vibration, because it is draining me. You know, so there is going to be a compromise, but there will definitely be a discussion. Okay, now it might get slightly heated, but this is a delivered message. So 100% you're going to receive communication from the person where you'll sit down and talk to them, okay? Because all of a sudden someone can just literally in the family flip out, okay? They can just flip out because I think it's winding someone up to the point of like, the discussion is going to go something like, well, you know, why can we not just sit down and actually discuss this amicably, because I'm having to do a lot. I'm going to have to travel quite a lot. This person travels. So in order to make things more, we need to find a common ground. That's what the conversation is going to be about, is a common ground. You know, we're either going to fight or we're going to have to find a common ground of where the family can move. If the family, because here also, I don't want to keep lifting the cards up, but the family here, some family members are considering moving location literally from the place that they're in here. So this could be you, Taurus, okay, that is thinking of moving to here, which is 5, which is meaning that you're going to have to move from one place, but you're going to have to learn to live with the person and then also discuss where you're going to go. Okay, from 4 to 5. So what we need is 6. Okay, 9. So you do kind of like progress basically, but the progression is the discussion, and the discussion is where you're going to move to, where you're going to be, where you're going to go, you know, or where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Are we going to go? And there's someone that could be delaying that slightly. See? 5. Again, 2 5s. You could have life path number 5. Okay? 5. Ruminating thoughts of fear. of like, well, I'm going to be left out. So you see, triggers are there for a reason to do with family, because it all comes back around. You can't avoid a relationship that you're in and thinking, well, if we can't compromise, then I'm just going to have to forget it and drop it, and then, you know, I'll just go on to another person. That's why you have soulmates and twin flames, because it will trigger you off and you'll just walk into another circumstance that will be the same. You can never, ever, ever, ever avoid a lesson. That's why people run, because they run to avoid it, but because they can't face something about oneself, okay, of regulating one's energy, of also home from home. So that a lot of this can be to do with, if we move, we're going to have to take the family with us, or we're going to have to leave some of them behind, or we're going to have to leave the town behind, or the city or state. Okay, so that's going to also be the discussion that these fives are constant battles of family being felt like they're being left out, but they're also still there. But what are we going to do then? How are we going to compromise to bring this to like a 10? Okay. Because there will be discussions of obviously money, family, can we afford it or can we not afford it? What do we do? So that would be a discussion. Have we got enough money that we can actually physically travel yet? Have we got enough stability for the children, but can we leave the children behind? So we need to make sure that they're okay, that they're with their perfect people as well. If you've got children, that they're all moved on and that they're all settled down before we can move and settle down. But there might be an energy that's saying, well, they're going to have to fend for themselves and they're going to have to do that themselves. We can't keep waiting for things to just happen and not do it. So that is part of the discussion that could well be happening during this time. Okay, that might still be happening now, but it will continue on through that timeline. Okay, this whole timeline is the beginning here that continues on. Okay, so there is going to be that discussion, and it will be about money. It will be about the children. It will definitely be about this 9 here. Okay. Because 9 can be obviously control. People have to work through their control, meaning like if you're being, everybody's controlled in certain manners because we fit in with their ego, and we tried to do that. Okay, so there needs to be compromise. But 9 here is talking about courage and strength to be able to do it for oneself and not rely on others. Okay, so you're going through something that would relate a lot to control, or it can relate to narcissism, and you get very confused of people being controlled. Okay, trust me, when you're spiritual, it makes all of the difference, because you feel controlled completely all of the time. You can. Okay, because it makes it a lot more difficult when you're open-minded, because you're open and receptive to energy. Okay, so you can become very empathic. Everybody's empathic, but just some people are more sensitive than others, but they're learning. Okay, so it could be one of the children here, one of the family members. Okay, that's also in this discussion of soulmate relationship factors. So what else was I picking up? There was something else that I was just hearing as well. Yeah, so there will have to be a compromisation skill because of this 9. That's it, sorry. Because someone might feel worried that they have to leave the children. At the same time, the children can also be very worried about what they're going to do with their lives as well. Sorry, but I see loads of different visions through these cards. Because it's definitely involving the family, okay? So the family are obviously also going through it as well, where they're having to find their own feet. Okay, Taurus, so we're going to go on with the next section. So because I give quite a lot away during these readings, so I really would appreciate it if people could join Patreon. It just really helps me out as well. You know, I know I will discuss this with people. The reason why it might be a little more expensive maybe is because I live in the UK, and by the time that comes from Patreon to my PayPal account, I get charged up the wazwanger for tax. So I really don't make too much money out of it. That's why I keep going to Patreon, because I can't afford to do everything all the time for free. That's not saying that everybody has to, but if you can give it a like, share and subscribe, or do whatever you can for the channel, I really would appreciate it. But for the people that do join Patreon, that is there, so we can go over more lessons and continue on with the timeline and give you that, okay? So I really don't mind, but I do ask for Patreon members, okay? But you can find the link to that below. But also, if you want a personal reading, you can reach out for me below too. You can find an email there, or to every other piece of multimedia that I'm running at the moment. Taurus, I got loads coming up myself. I'm very excited about certain things as well. But we continue on with the readings and how it is. But at least I would like a thumbs up if you can, okay? All right, guys, thanks very much, Taurus, and let's see what's going to happen over on Patreon. Thanks, guys.